So we'll continue from the previous video that we did on enlightenment. So we were thinking of talking about the implications of realizing who you truly are, which is life itself, really, consciousness itself, the absolute truth, becoming aware of itself in this form. That's who you really are, not the limited body-mind identity that you usually take yourself to be, which we refer to as the ego. So, the first and most important implication of self realization or enlightenment is a drastic reduction in suffering because the ego is perpetually in search of something more than what it has at this moment. It therefore lives in a state of perpetual dissatisfaction. Nothing is ever enough for it. But the absolute truth or consciousness is perfect. It has the ability to take on any and every form. It has the ability to create any form, sustain any form, and destroy any form at will. It has no limitations. The laws of physics emanate from consciousness. The laws of physics govern the behavior of forms which dance within consciousness, which move within consciousness. Our everyday experience is completely describable as forms moving within consciousness. So, since the absolute truth is perfect, that implies the end of desire. The end of desire implies the end of suffering. Also, the absolute truth is eternal, infinite, birthless, deathless, beginningless, endless, boundless, infinitely beautiful, endlessly wise, infinitely loving, infinitely powerful, infinitely intelligent, the source of all knowledge, the source of bliss, knowledge, bliss, etc. All these things that I just mentioned are imperceptible without consciousness. In fact, consciousness is beyond even perfection. So, even to say that consciousness or the absolute truth is perfect is a limitation on the absolute truth because it also has the capacity to appear as imperfect and then play out an epic quest over time to grow from imperfection to perfection, which is what the entire story of humanity is about, the urge to transcend limitations at every step. We went from walking to bullock carts to bicycles to cars and bikes to airplanes to spacecraft. We went to the moon. The devices we use have grown in sophistication at an exponential rate over the past 20 years or so. More is storable on a pen drive now than the best hard disks used to be around 10 years ago, or maybe say 10 to 15 years ago. The cell phone is literally like a handheld computer. So, our aspiration to transcend our limitations at every step is clear. It's the impulse of imperfection tending towards perfection over time via a process of struggle, discovery, exploration, and growth. So, the state of being identified as an ego. The idea that you are just this body and this mind, as opposed to the absolute truth of consciousness in which the body and the mind arise. That state of being identified as something limited is a state of immense suffering. The ego is constantly trying to make life go its way, and life repeatedly thwarts that desire. In fact, not getting what you want is the ultimate spiritual teacher. The suffering that ensues from not getting what you want, which causes you to question your own identity and realize that you are the absolute truth, and therefore perfect, immortal, infinite, and eternal, and therefore free of death and suffering and desire. Your need to work or to be in a relationship or to assert yourself in society well reduces to around 95%, you know, 5% of what it used to be in the ego identified state. These are a few implications of realizing the absolute truth. Bliss, in short, the end of fear, the end of desire, here and now, because you already are the absolute truth. If only you would stop insisting on being something other than that. We'll explore something else in the next video.